these niggas, bro.
We never. Who said I didn't? We never had that conversation.
But that's like me saying, okay,
we never had that conversation. And that's one thing you said. You said Charlamagne never told me he had any affiliation with Roc Nation. That's not true,
nigga. You never did.
Do you remember your scream the day after I called you that Friday? You literally said verbatim, Charlamagne said he gonna try to connect me with Roc Nation. Apparently he got some type of connection with him. And you said
you never said that. Like, I'm thinking you just know, because most of these, like the Roc Nation people, I don't know who they are. Like, if I seen Desiree outside this building, I'd walk past her unless I remember what she looks like online. I've never seen her. I've never been in the same room with her. Nigga, even Jay, the only time I ever seen Jay, I was at a Kendrick concert. I seen that nigga in the skybox. And you said, I don't know these people.
And you said Desiree got me a therapist. I'm like, where the fuck, where I get that from?
Yeah, that's what they told me.
Who's they?
Nigga, the people. So I'm racking my mind around, and they're like, yo, they said you admitted it publicly.
I've never said that. Desiree got me a therapist? How crazy does that sound?
Nigga, I don't know, but they said you and her are locked in, and I'm like,
I love Desiree though.
That makes sense.
That's not a secret.
That makes sense. Well, I don't know. Listen, what I know, and this is what I was saying, I know you're too smart for it. Roc Nation been coming at me for smooth 3-4 years.
On what though?
On things that what's their initiative I'm going against. Like I just what? Happen to, it could be the Meg shit. It could be like any initiatives that I've just never kind of been, and it's not like on some.
I thought Meg sued you.
No, Meg never sued me. Meg sued a blogger. But this is what we said. If we're gonna talk about, and we should talk about media campaigns and everything, because I'll agree with you on certain shit. Like when you're now talking about like Grant and Georgia, whatever you want to call him. Okay, if you want to call it a campaign, because I ain't gonna lie, that nigga, he is a smart nigga, bro. I gotta be honest. But if you're gonna deny that other people don't have campaigns,
they don't.
You're crazy,
bro. Nobody.
Yeah, please.
Nobody campaigns like yo. It's not even close.
No. It's the most visible and the most about and the most. I would say the Roc Nation plays. They're just trying to exhaust. They can't. They don't have any.
That's my point. Like a lot of times,
that's not your point. You're not even agreeing that Roc Nation. They're the same thing.
You got to show me. I'm not even. I'm just saying you got to show me. You got to show me
in a deposition.
Because you was wilding on Megan. I thought it was a deposition for defamation on Megan.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great day to be a content creator. You know, one of the reasons why I made this channel was because as the viewer, you get to listen to so many different opinions. And honestly, some of those opinions kind of feel biased at certain points, which is why I decided to pretty much make my own page where I could break down certain things. Today, we're going to be reacting to DJ Akademiks and Charlamagne Tha God for their 3-hour sit-down, holy moly, right, called The Best of Both Glazers, right? You have from what Akademiks calls Charlamagne, right, the alleged Jay-Z glazer. And then we have our known Drake glizzy goblin, right? The top glizzy eater, DJ Akademiks, right? Now, there was a lot of stuff to be broken down within this video. There's so much content, and this is amazing, right? If you haven't seen it, please go check it out. It's 3 hours. It's really entertaining, and they really get into a lot of stuff, okay? Now, I'm going to be breaking down certain scenes, talking about certain things that they were going over, and there's just so much in here, and honestly, I'm just happy that they had to sit down, because there's this nasty media war going on, right? You have Drake saying, you know, he's beefing with Roc Nation, and you know, bezos everybody, right? But then, you know, Charlamagne is kind of getting caught in the crossfire of this whole situation, because even when he's not really associated with Roc Nation, he kind of got thrown into it, right? Now, this is where this whole situation, in my opinion, becomes very interesting, I'll say. So, allegedly, Charlamagne called Akademiks, we all know, right? But if you don't know, he called Akademiks, letting him know, like, hey, I got some news for you. And he told him some stuff about Grand Wizard, right? So he said, look, you know, this is a heads up. I don't know what you want to do with it, but I'm telling you, that way you know. Now, Akademiks, right? It was interesting how he responded, because instead of him just keeping it close to the chest, he decided to just say, fuck it, right? He went straight to Grand Wizard and told Grand Wizard everything, right? So between him and Grand Wizard in Axe community, Akademiks is pretty much trying to say that this is a Roc Nation play to get him out of the way. Now, one thing about Akademiks that doesn't make any sense to me, is just him as a person, right? If you've been watching Akademiks for a while, right? I don't think he's getting paid by Drake per se, but I do think that he's a gay fanboy, right? He even says in the interview that he loves Drake. He grew up on Drake, right? I've seen Ak talk crazy about Black Americans, right? And even Castanet said the same thing. Oh, Black Americans are this, Black Americans are that. But yet all you guys do is come over here and ride our culture, right? So this is deep, right? This is deep. And honestly, there's going to be so much ramifications that come out of this future-wise, right? There's going to be so much going down within these next couple of months, maybe the next year, that we haven't even seen yet. And this sit down is just the beginning, okay? So tune in, all right? I got some clips I'm going to play for you guys first. And then as I play the clips, I'll be discussing some minor things that I actually found interesting, okay? So hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you guys get ready.
That's how it works. Every casino. We could go to FanDuel, we could go to DraftKings, we could go to Trump even owned casinos. That's a very regular practice, right? Where people are like, hey, listen, yo, I've lost my money or whatever. And eventually the casino might be like, yo, I'm just settled because we want to keep operating. We're making a shit ton of money, whatever. That's really par for the course whenever you deal with casinos.
But Ak, here's the thing. I don't give a fuck about none of this shit.
All I was asking you is that where are you getting the info? Because
and I told you I don't know, but I'm going to try to find out. Did I not
feel like
say
you
that to
gaslit me, man.
No, that's you.
I feel like you knew who it was from.
I would have told you. But let me give you another. Let me tell you this, right?
So as you guys can see, Charlamagne is literally explaining it. He's breaking it down how everything happened. And even in the moment, Akademiks is still trying to justify what he did, saying, oh, well, wouldn't you do this? Wouldn't this mean that? And this really shows how paranoid Akademiks really is, right? And that's one thing that Charlamagne pointed out during this interview. He said, dude, you're frantic, right? Like you're all over the place, like you're acting like a maniac, right? And Ak is die hard for this stuff, okay? He truly thinks that Roc Nation wants to pack his ass up, okay? And it's so funny that as much as he glazes Charlamagne on a daily basis, he trusts fucking Grand Wizard more than he trusts Charlamagne, right? And even if this was a play, right? Let's just play devil's advocate. Even if this was a play to split up Charlamagne and Grand Wizard, this is something that you should have kept to yourself, right? And here's what I mean. Akademiks, all right, it's cool, right? You can tell Grand Wizard, but then why would you go on stream and then just give everything up, right? It's like, okay, either you tell Wizard, you don't tell Stream, right? Or you just keep it close to the chest. And it's funny because in that situation, maybe that's definitely something that Akademiks should have done. But I think one thing that we've seen time and time again about Akademiks is how sensitive he is. Akademiks is extremely sensitive. And even during a certain part in this interview, Charlamagne says like, bro, you're leading with ego, right? And it's because of Ak always talks about money. He talks about numbers. He talks about, oh, I have more money than rappers. I got more blah, 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 blah. But it's like, Ak, you want to be a rapper. Let's be honest, okay? He got the chain, the fresh hat, the steak shirt. Come on, Ak. Little Ak. Let's not forget about that. Little Ak. You did a little song with 6ix9ine. Like, it's crazy, right? People like Akademiks, in my opinion, right, were people who got bullied in school, and now that they have clout, this is their time to do something about it, right? When no, bro, the highlight of your life was back in high school and college, okay? And we don't need you messing with the minds of impressionable youth, okay? I'll just say that, impressionable youths. Because there are a lot of times where Akademiks is very biased, and it doesn't make any sense. He'll sit here and talk about how he made Little Baby album flop. He talks about how he made Meek Mill, how he damn near ruined Meek's career, right? He talks about a lot of rappers, but then when it comes back to him, when it comes back to Grand Wizard, when it comes back to even Drake, who didn't even meet you in person until what, like fucking recently? And then he gave you a chain and gave you a hug? Like, bro, this has to be some of the gayest. I'm sorry. This is a grown man living out his teenage fantasy of being, I don't want to say it, okay, but a Drake Glazer. Okay. Now, one thing that I do want to point out about Akademiks and his mentality is that he looks at everything like a child under the age of 18 would, right? Because of the internet, right? You're so impressionable that you think the internet is reality, when in general, it's not. It's not. You go on the internet, people are complaining about shit that people in real life aren't even complaining about. Online is not the reality. What online is an illusion. It's a fantasy. It's a place where people can get their opinions off because people want to be heard. But in reality, take that shit to the real world. Nobody's gonna care. And that's why they have the comment sections, right? Because they want people to respond, right? They want people to say the first thing that comes to them, right? And that's one thing about Akademiks. He claims that he doesn't have the power to tell him. He said that he doesn't run his AkademiksTV page, right? It's ran by, it's pretty much a fan page that's ran by a couple of his high discorded mods from his community, which means you do have the power. You just don't want to do it. Like, it's really that simple. And it's not something that you have to lie about. It's not something that you have to pad up. Just be honest.
Let me tell you this, right? Go back to my original point. You think I'm in cahoots with Roc Nation. That's fair to say. Of
course, right? Absolutely.
And you think Roc Nation is doing this to you?
Roc Nation is part of a broader thing, but yes, of course.
So if I called you to tell you that privately, wouldn't that be me snaking Roc Nation?
Are we cutting this part out? Like, yes.
No, I'm not. Yes. So that should let you know right there.
No.
If I'm so in bed with Roc Nation, and I'm so in cahoots with them, and they got this master plan to take down Akademiks, and Charlamagne calls Ak to tell him privately, that would mean I'm snaking Roc Nation.
Yeah, but Charlotte, that call wasn't like Ak save it, because everything you even told me was like, Ak, the focus of what I'm hearing is people that has been around you. You weren't even saying Ak, you were saying be careful.
That's right.
Okay. What I felt that call was, that's what I'm saying. I think that was a Roc Nation directed call. You know why? If I completely took heed of that, the people who were around me that you mentioned, I would have just backed up off and be like, yo, I don't know.
Nah, not necessarily. That just means you cut your grass a little lower so you can really see if there's any snakes there. That don't mean cut those folks off. That was just a simple heads up that you could have kept private, tucked to yourself, and just kept a close eye on everybody just in case.
To me, that was Roc Nation.
But instead, you went to your main shooter and told him, start shooting that Charlamagne.
No, I never told him that.
I don't believe. Stop.
No, I promise.
You said you told.
No.
Okay.
I said I can't, because there's times when that page is ran like a fan page. There's like 4 or 5 people at any time that could. Now there's a person who kind of like more moderates it or probably makes most of the shit on there, but you know, I'm just kind of seen as the figure who kind of oversees it.
That's not smart though. I don't know why you allow that page to use your face and likeness. Like that motherfucker be saying some wild shit, bro.
No, we could get into that. But the point what I'm trying to say is that I didn't co-sign everything that happened. So normally, if I've seen a post about you, I'm gonna hit him and be like, yo, I know Charlamagne's my guy. Take that off.
It seems like Ak has like short-term memory, right? They're not just bringing you in to bring you in. At that time, Ak was saying a lot of controversial crazy things about the Megan Thee Stallion case when that whole thing was going on, right? Whether you're a pro-Tory or anti-Tory, pro-Meg, anti-Meg, regardless, right? Ak has a habit of saying things, right? And then wondering why he gets in trouble or wondering why things happen, right? Just like when he got caught talking to that little kid. And he was like, well, what happened? We're in Discord talking to a kid. Well, Ak, did you hear what you said to that kid? But Ak played it off like, oh no, we're friends. We're his brothers, his big brothers. Like, no, bro, no big brothers talk to some little kid like that, Ak. Okay? And the thing that really trips me out the most is how delusional Ak is. He's so delusional. The amount of slander that Akademiks kicks up on a daily basis, right? And cool, right? You want to wake up every morning and beef with men right? But the only man you don't want to beef with is Drake. Okay. You want to wake up every morning beef with men, right? And let's not even forget, Ak is unisex, right? He'll beef with women. That's another thing, right? And then he gets mad at, TDE and all these record labels. Ak, you're slandering their artists. What do you expect them to do? Even the whole Little Baby situation, in my opinion, is hilarious because till this day, Ak still gets mad when he talks about allegedly, I have to say allegedly, he got smacked by one of Little Baby's goons, I guess, or Little Baby's blunt roller, which is actually even more funnier, right? Now, a lot of people online, Ak was saying that it never happened, but honestly, Ak doesn't seem, I've never seen Ak get hyped up, right, about something that may not necessarily be true. So there could be a little truth to him getting smacked, right? Maybe it didn't happen the way that it came out online, but I would not be surprised if Akademiks did end up getting smacked, right? So this is what comes with being a public figure and saying the things that you say. And Ak, all you do is breed chaos and toxicity into the community. That's literally why I stopped watching Akademiks. If I watch him, it's just to catch the clips, right? Maybe he'll have somebody interesting on. Maybe it's a good conversation he's having with somebody else. But outside of that, Ak isn't in my realm. I'm a 27-year-old grown man, okay? I don't want to listen to Akademiks because, in my opinion, Akademiks isn't authentic, right? He plays a character. He plays into the fact that nobody cares about the truth if the lie is more entertaining. And I think that's one thing that we have to watch out, especially as the future, right? Like, I'm 27. At some point, I'm going to be like, my generation will be the seniors, right? And it's up to us to pretty much protect the youth from people like Ak, right? Who just want to prey on young, impressionable kids. And that's all he does. It's embarrassing that he always wants to go at women. It's embarrassing that he plays this cat and mouse game, right? He wants to be the big dog, but he doesn't have big dog energy because is not a big dog. Okay. So anyway, I'm sorry. I just had to get that little rant out of me. But anyway, man, so during this whole sit down, there were so many interesting conversations that they brought up. Also, something else that was very interesting that I don't want to fly under the rails is that Charlamagne was the one who gave Drake a heads up. Well, he gave Jay Prince the heads up that the reference tracks about Drake were going to be released, right? And this makes sense because even during that whole Drake and Meek Mill beef, and this might be something I'll have to do another video for, but even during that Drake and Meek Mill beef, it felt like Drake was ready. Like, if that makes sense, right? It felt like he was just, it was just the way everything happened for that beef was too perfect. And what made me realize that was his beef with Kendrick, right? Think about how cocky Drake was initially when it came to him beefing with Kendrick, right? Now, why would he be cocky, right? Because Drake has so many pawns in his pocket. Then by pawns, I don't mean people that owe Drake favors, right? I mean just favors that Drake could call, right? There are a lot of people invested into Drake, right? And this is why he got cooked during the Kendrick beef. He did not have nobody to warn him and say, hey, look, this is what Kendrick is coming with. Because clearly, if you listen to what Charlamagne said, that when it came across his desk that Drake was about to be pretty much exposed, right? Because if Charlamagne would have never gave Drake that heads up, who knows how differently the Meek versus Drake beef could have been, right? Because everything with that beef went too well for Drake. It was almost like Drake was ready for it. And that's really how I felt during that time. And during the Drake and Kendrick beef, it showed me that Drake really doesn't have the upper hand that he wants us to think he have. He just has a bigger circle around him, right? A bunch of people that are tied in with him, right? That have connections and relationships that are able to do things that probably most artists really don't have, man. And it's interesting seeing Charlamagne talk about this. I honestly have to do some more digging regarding this to figure out some more information. But Charlamagne is pretty much saying verbatim that once he found those reference tracks, he was talking to somebody else who just happened to know Jay Prince. And Jay Prince has a hand in Drake's contract, for those who are wondering. He told Jay Prince, and of course Jay Prince doesn't care about reference tracks because Drake is making money, man. But of course, they told Drake, they said, hey, look, this is what's coming your way. be ready. Look, man, there's so much going on. I might drop another video regarding all this stuff. But look, man, jump in the comments below. How do you guys feel about the beef so far versus Akademiks and Charlamagne? Are you guys surprised they did a sit down? It went the way I expected it to go. You know, a lot of tap dancing. And both of these guys are vetted media, you know, they're up there, right? Now, obviously, Charlamagne has been up there longer than Ak, but they both know how to tap dance. And honestly, I don't trust either of them. But I trust Charlamagne more than I trust Akademiks, because we've seen Akademiks lie. We've seen him be biased, and we've seen Ak do a lot of weird stuff, honestly. But anyway, jump in the comments how you guys feel. Hit that like button, subscribe, I'm up.
Well,
I only critique the music
listen,
and his clothes.
Drake sent you bottles and shouted you out on a diss song. Jay-Z and his people got me in court,
hey, listen,
federal court.
I'm gonna tell you something else Drake did that you should have done. Who gave Drake a heads up about the reference tracks?
What heads up did I have that day?
No. Who gave Drake a heads up about the reference tracks 10 years ago?
Yeah, I heard you did that, yeah.
Everybody thought me and Drake had such crazy beef. But me being a human, right? I'm like, I don't want to destroy this man's career. I don't hate this man like that. So I called my homegirl, Jazz Fly, who's no longer with us, God bless the dead, not even knowing she got a relationship with Drake. Just talking to her about the situation. I said, you know what, when we finished talking, I said, I'm going to call Jay Prince and just let Jay Prince be like, no, somebody sent me these reference tracks, blah, blah, blah. You think when I sent Jay Prince the reference tracks, Jay Prince didn't give a fuck where they came from. He was just like, yo, I got these reference tracks. This is what they trying to do to my man. Hey, Drake, now you got the heads up. Figure it out. So Drake went on offense and got in front of whatever the narrative was going to be.
So if anything, it sounds like you're taking credit for Drake like responding as he should and bodying Meek Mill. You see Meek recently put that he said that Akademiks is the reason streams went down. Nigga, it's you.
Can I say something? You gonna make me